Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. This is not financial advice. I just took a bunch of other mints, baby, because it's about to get hot in the kitchen. Now, you already know what time it is. Let me just double check, make sure everything is good, everything is live. Let me know where you from in the comments, family. So I see we got 72 likes. I love to see it. If you rolling in, hit the like button. It's free. And what I want to do is go over the technicals on the SPY so that we can look and see. Do we see a play? Are we getting clear signals? Now, don't trade before you get. Oh, hold up. Don't fall for any scams. I do not have any VIP. I don't have a VIP anything. I'm gonna say this another time later on in the video. I don't have a VIP anything. You already in the VIP. We in the Discord, right? That's the VIP. So now, scammers are trying to DM you on Instagram. They might try to DM you on Discord. People is literally making up Discords and paying so that they can try to scam. Be on the lookout for all of that, family. If you want to talk to me at Keenan Grace, that's it, right? You could chop it up with your boy. So now, we got a whole lot to talk about. We got a whole lot to do. And we just got to make sure that everything is nice and smooth for you. So first things first, let's check this out. Where are you from, baby? Where are you from? We trying to get to know you a little bit better. You see that the pandemic is, kind of getting put into the back burner when you think about the news now. So that means that, the world's open. So a lot of people are traveling around. You never know. You might see your boy one day. So I'm trying to see where you from. I see Michigan is in the building. I see Georgia's in the building. Hey, let's get it. Indiana is in the house. Let the family know where you from. And if you see somebody else where you from in the chat, family, let us know where you at. So let's talk about it. Jacksonville in the building too. We got some news today. And it's this. Let me just try to show you this real quick. What is it? They're saying that the United States initial jobless claims. So check this out. The actual, the forecast, and the previous. Look at this. You see how this is down and it's red? I want you to just pay attention to this real quick. This is what the jobless claims were before. And let's get down because they wrote the definition in here too, right? This is initial jobless claims measure the number of individuals who filed for unemployment insurance for the first time during the past week. Family, the first time during the past week. So when we look at this graph, we can see that it has gone up, right? We can see that it has gone up. So now, understand this. In a time that you're thinking about a recession and then the Feds heightening interest rates and things like this, they actually want more people. I hate to say it, family, but it is what it is. You just got to be informed. Whether it sounds good, bad, or ugly, you really need to know the truth. They want more people to have, they don't want you to have a job. It's as simple as that, family. They don't want you to have a job. They want you to not have a job so that you don't go and you buy new things. Because you got to understand, they're trying to get demand down. They want demand to come all the way down. How does that work, family? Again, supply and demand. When you go and you look at the price of some milk, family, milk, I'm talking eggs, I'm talking cars, anything. You go and you look and you're like, yo, man, even houses. How did this thing get so expensive so quickly? Family, it's because people were willing to pay for it. People were willing to pay for it. And since people are willing to pay, now it's a bidding war to the top. Guess what that does, family? That's inflation. And I want you to really understand the idea though, right? At a core, because a lot of people talking about, oh man, inflation, but they ain't really talking about how it happens. So understand this. Imagine that you wake up and you're a billionaire tomorrow, right? You a billionaire. What might you do? You might say, man, I know, I might know that eggs is double the price, milk is double the price, cars is double the price. I'll be all right. I'm just gonna buy it anyway. I don't even want to deal with the headache because I know I got the money. You thinking like that, family? Then guess what? The people who are selling it, they're saying, look, this person they're selling it to whoever's the highest bidder, whoever's willing to pay the most, right? So now that they're willing to pay the most, you a billionaire. What if your next door neighbor becomes a billionaire? What if everybody around you is a billionaire now too, all of a sudden? Now all of y'all together, including me, we all saying, yo, I'll buy it for a lot. It is what it is. So then when you look at the price of the thing that we are all buying compared to last year, the price is through the roof because everybody's willing to pay more. But now imagine they strip that billionaire status from you, family. I'm talking about you might have to do something crazy. You know what I'm saying? You don't have no money. You're desperate, family. You desperate. You don't know if you should eat this slice of bread because you don't know if you're gonna have some bread to eat tomorrow, right? They strip that billionaire status from you. Now you have nothing. So now when you see somebody say, yo, the price of the eggs is double, you're like, hey man, I don't have it. It is what it is. I don't have it. So now, remember, nobody has a hard no like a person who doesn't have it. So since you don't have it, you ain't gonna do it. So imagine they stripped the billionaire status from everybody else, and now everybody in your neighborhood who used to be billionaires is now, I'm talking dirt poor, family. I'm talking down bad. Now none of y'all have it. The prices have to come down, or the people who are selling the things, they're not gonna be able to sell nothing. They're gonna say, man, look, I can't, nobody is buying this hot dog at this baseball game for $10. Nobody's doing it. We gotta make it $1. Maybe they'll buy it then. And if you really don't have it because you dead, dirt, poor, broke, family, guess what? You ain't gonna even buy it for $1. You're gonna say, look, I don't got it, man. You better make it cheaper than that. Or you ain't selling no hamburgers, no hot dogs at the game. You ain't selling no used cars, nothing. So what are they doing, family? They're trying to make more people lose their jobs so that they don't have it. They're stripping, not the billionaire status from you, because that was extreme. They're stripping your job from you. They're trying to strip your ability to push the prices up. So then when they do that, then inflation can come down. And then the people who, you remember from about 2020 to about 2021, family, billionaires was doubling their net worth because they own everything, right? They want to get back to that. And then beyond that, how are they going to do it? They need you to stop pumping the prices up. That's really what it is, family. At the end of the day, they need you to stop pumping the prices up. It's hurting us and it's hurting everybody. The billionaires is going to be all right, but it's mostly hurting the regular, average, everyday person, family, who don't have the billionaire status. You know what I'm saying? Think about how crazy it got. Jeff Bezos, the owner of the majority of the shares of Amazon, the founder of Amazon, got divorced from, well, his wife divorced him, took half of his money, right? She should have waited 1 year, right? Why? Because he was 2 times as rich next year. So this is exactly what happened. My man, let's say he had like $100 billion. She go ahead and take 50 of it. Boom. Now he got 50 billion. Amazon during the pandemic came out of nowhere, right? Not Amazon coming out of nowhere, but the pandemic came out of nowhere, right? They were doing so well. Their numbers was so crazy that my man doubled his net worth. So if she would have waited a little bit longer, she would have got half of somebody who had like 200, if not 300 billion, rather than somebody who got 100 billion. I'm sure she'll be all right though. You understand what I'm saying? It's us that get hurt instead of these billionaires that's fighting over their hundreds of billions of dollars, family. So we just got to pay attention to what's going on in this real world out here. So now, let's check this out. Hit the like button, family. We got 200 likes. There's no need for that. Let's get the likes at least up to 500. You understand what I'm saying? Take a look, see if it's 500. Now that we got a little more people in here, I do want to say, again, don't fall for no scams. Zero. None of them. I don't have any VIP, and I'm not going to be in your DMs and your direct messages. Don't fall for that. You hear somebody talking about that, say, no, Keenan's not DMing you. Keenan's not offering some VIP. I'm not in your Instagram DM. I'm not in none of that. I'm not in your Discord DMs. That's not the case. When I talk to the family, we all talk out in the public because we all trying to get money together. So now, let's go over here and let's check out a few things, right? Now, Disney. Real quick, I just want to show you this. Disney, they announced some layoffs, right? Again, we already know the government, the Federal Reserve, everybody, they're trying to basically say, hey, look, jobs, more people got jobs than ever before. But at the same time, they sneak trying to make you lose your job. So, okay, which we can see right here with the initial jobless claims, AKA people who, and they said it themselves, individuals who filed for unemployment insurance for the first time during the past week. Family, so they trying to get new people to be broke who wasn't broke before. So, okay, now, Disney announced the layoffs. That's right in line with everything that's going on, right? They're trying to cut costs and this and that and the third, and they got new plans for ESPN. So, Disney, whether you agree with how Disney is moving or not, you got to understand that Disney has kind of sort of become not just a financial play, it has become a political kind of a play. And why do I say that? Because I don't know if you heard about She-Hulk. I don't know if you heard about like all of these different kind of characters. Like they're trying to push like the strong female character, which again, it is what it is. How you feel about that is how you feel about that. I'm not going to tell you how to feel. But since they're doing it, right? Strong female characters who have, you know how there's like so many genders now, right? And no disrespect. I'm just saying it just is what it is, right? Disney is getting involved in stuff like this. So now that they're getting involved in stuff like this, people are saying, yo, sometimes I just want to go to the movies. And I just want to watch an entertaining movie with my family without having to hear about the politics. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear about it right now. I'm trying to just, I deal with that regularly. I'm trying not to deal with that. So now people are starting to feel like that towards Disney. And again, you feel how you feel. It's okay. But people are feeling like that, and it's actually hurting their numbers, family. It's hurting their numbers. So when you're thinking about going into Disney, you just want to see. This is why everybody's talking about it. They want to see, how is Disney gonna transition? They've been getting so bad that it got to the point where there's even Star Wars movies that are not profitable, family. Listen, you know how crazy them Star Wars movies was going back in the day. So come on now. If you can make that not profitable, that's really out of pocket, because you see people dress up like the stormtroopers and go to the movies. So the fact that Disney is kind of tarnishing their reputation, and it's divisive now. You know what I'm saying? Either people is all with it or they're all against it. And that's not good when you're a business. You want people to say, hey, look, I don't know how my favorite restaurant feels politically, but I know they make good food, right? That's what you're thinking about. So that's why Disney is kind of getting in trouble for that, because now you're saying, yo, look, I don't know how Disney feels about this group of people or that group of people or this, but I do know that they make entertaining movies. I brought my kids to the Incredibles movie and I thought it was dope. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of thing. People want that. But now you're bringing your kids to the Incredible movies, and it might say something that you agree with. It might say something that you disagree with. But now you got to think about that before you go. And when you go to a restaurant or you go to, get some tools from Lowe's or something like that, a ceiling fan, you don't even know what side of the political spectrum these companies are on, because it's about the product. It ain't about their political side. So you see what I'm saying? So now that's hurting the numbers, and that's why I'm bringing this up. So we got to keep our eye on Disney, and I hope that they kind of get away from that political stuff, because it's really not good for the books, baby. It's really not. And you said they sneaky with it too. Yo, I'm telling you. It's crazy out here. So now, with that being said, let's get into it, and let's look at, let's see, 500 likes, almost, family, almost, 417. Hit that like button, baby. Hit that like for your boy. Now let's see this. Last trade we did, I was up 130. Yo, this one went bonkers like later on that day, but I was already out of it. But it went bananas. It almost, I think I put in 1,000, and it went up like, I didn't stay in the trade. I got off the trade. Let's be clear on that, right? I'm always gonna keep it raw. This is my receipts. For those of you who are new here, we keep track. This is a recap and a summary, because there's so many clowns talking about, oh, you can't be profitable being a trader, which is true for most people, because they don't have rules and they don't have laws and they don't have principles that they stand on, that they follow, right? So here are the laws. If you never heard them before, just take a screenshot of this, right? Take a screenshot of this, and then you can ask me any questions on it if you want, but I do encourage you to have laws, have principles, right? So then you could see someone who is actually a profitable trader, because most people ain't profitable. How do you do it? You watching me do it. I'm willing to take the 130 win. Yeah, I'm salty. I'm a little salty that it wasn't the $1,700 win from the other day, or the $700 win from the other day. But you know what? 130 is profit, and profit is good. Profit is good, family. If I made $130 a day every day that the stock market was open, and let's see. Hold up. Let me see what Siri talking about real quick. So let me open my phone up. Hey Siri, how are you?
I'm pretty good, thanks.
Okay, good. Siri, what is 130 times 251?
The answer is 32,630.
32,000. So the market, I think the stock market this year is open 251, if not 250, 252, somewhere around there. But you heard it. If I was to make $130 a day net, some days you lose, some days you win, but if I was to make $130 net, and let me just get back to where I got that number from. Family, understand, that's a $30,000 year in just trading. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. And when you look at all of my numbers, this is sort of on the low side, right? Maybe I'll get $10 in a day or one, but guess what? Profit is profit. So if I was to net 130, family, that's a whole boom. What? $32,000 Siri just said. And you can look. Some days you do way better than that. It happens. So, okay. With that being said, let's go and let's see this. I want to just show you real quick. When I do trade, I get in and it's called Keenan's Trades on the Discord. It's called Keenan's Trades. So now I want to show you again, because again, I get a lot of a feedback on how it's a good idea to look at the stop loss and like how to bring it up on the live. So I'm bringing it up on live. So imagine this. This is from the other day. This is the 415 call. This is the strike price, 415. I don't need the option to go to 415 or the stock to go to 415, but this is the one we're looking at. Expiration 7 of February 2023. The price that I would have bought it at, for example, 24. I buy this thing at 24. All this up here is, on the most simplest terms ever, this is just the name. SPY 415 February 7th expiration. It's more complicated than that. If you took the classes, you understand, but it's a name. This is the name of the contract. $24. It says 24 cents, but you got to buy 100 of them. So basically it's $24 and I do a limit buy. So that's exact price or lower than I'm trying to buy it at, for example. Now, once I bought it, if I go into, and this is Webull that I'm using, I had tagged Webull on here because people ask me all the time, what app is this? What app is this? So this is Webull, right? Headphones in the chat, fam. I'm showing you how to do a stop loss. So this is a limit order. This is my order type. It's a limit, but it's a buy, right? Green buy. Limit buy. This is the buy, limit buy, and I'm trying to buy it for 24 or less, right? This is what that order means. And how many of these $24 contracts do I want? I pick one. What if I picked 100, right? Then you could buy more and you could scale it up. So when people say, yo, how much money do you need to be able to trade options? I would like you to step back, and then this is my opinion. It's just scales. And it's this, make your losses small. How do you do that? Use a 5 to 10% stop loss, but also you trade with 5% of your account max is my law that I like to follow, right? 5% of it max. So then if you got $1,000, then you would trade with $50. But even the 50 is protected because you put a 5 to 10% stop loss on the 50. You put a 5 to 10% stop loss on the 50. So then you can't blow up your account in this way. You just actually training yourself to do what? Like I always tell you, trade with the chart and not with your heart. That's how we trying to get down. So now that we got that out of the way, let's go back over here and let's look at how to finish out with the stop loss. So you saw, hold on, man, my thing ain't working. So here we go, boom. We were looking at this. So I will buy it, limit buy, $24. I'm only buying one of them. So then even here, I would be able to trade. Let me go back to, I would be able to trade with $24 just on this trade right here. It would just cost me 24. I don't know what this Oxford thing popping up. No, I don't need that. So boom, $24 what this trade would cost me. So, okay, now that you see that, once I bought the option already, what would happen is I would need it to go, I would actually go where my stocks are, right? I would look at my stocks and then I will go to sell, right? I'm looking to sell the option. So it would be where my, let's say you got Apple, VTI, or whatever else in there, or any other options. You go and you look at your list of assets and then you go to sell it. You click sell, you change your limit order, right? Your sell order. And like I was just showing you before, it would look like this. So you click sell, you change the order type to a limit, and then you would be trying to sell this at the stop price. It says 24, but I would make it, I would click on that 24 right here. I would click it, and then what will pop up is like minus 5%, minus 10%, minus 2%. You click it, and then it automatically sets what percentage you were trying to get on your stop loss. And then you just, boom, let it go. And then that's your stop order. Your stop order, order type, stop order is your stop loss, right? And this is on Webull. So there are many different order types. We don't have to get into any of them right now. Let's go and let's look at the charts. And I want you to understand this. If you feeling like, oh, I got to hurry up and get in right away, family, I ain't pressed that is what, 9:34? No, I'm not pressed, because guess what? There's always going to be plays. There's always going to be plays. And when you feel pressed, guess what you're trading with, baby? Guess what you're trading with? And you already getting behind. You understand? You already getting behind. We don't need that. So, okay, 600 likes in the building. Let's get it. So now, let's go. Group orders will stop. Let's go. So here we go. I see the headphones in the chat. Now, let's get to our levels, right? So, you know, I got to zoom out real quick and go grab my words like we do. So those of you who might be new here, we like to trade with the chart and not with our heart. You may have heard it, but now you're going to see it. What do I mean by that? Everything that I do, I like to be extremely specific and practical on, rather than just talking to you about, you know, theories and hypotheses, like, and things like that. I want to talk to you about practicality. I want to talk to you about, okay, this is what the charts are actually saying to me. And somebody the other day, I want to give him a shout out. I called him Mike in the video yesterday. He was like, man, Keenan, you know, Google going down. You called that. And I'm thinking like, bro, I really appreciate that, right? I really appreciate that you was paying attention. But I can't take credit for what the charts are telling me. I can't, because I just see what the charts are saying. And I know, according to the laws, it works 70% of the time, because I could get a false breakout. I could get a false breakdown. It happens. There's news that happens that messes it up, and there's manipulation that happens that messes it up. But outside of that, it works. So then let's go and let's do our charts. Okay, so now I got my words over here, even though when you zoom in, they a little jumbled all over the place. But okay, let's see. And I think I got my RAM on my computer is a little janky. So I might have to do something about that, family. Maybe I got too many tabs open or something. I don't know. So, okay, boom. And we're going to actually start and talk about this yellow one too today. The yellow one, for my people who've been rocking with me, you know that that's more of a new concept, but we'll get into it. But for now, let's go to the charts. We're going to start with our blue lines, right? We're going to start with our blue lines. No, let's start with our green and our red lines, because I want you to practice patience. I want you to practice patience. When you feel like you need to rush, that's when you oftentimes get smoked, right? Notice that the first 15 minutes of the stock market open, it's the wild, wild west. FOMO buyers, FOMO sellers, everybody mixing in there, right? It all depends on the quantity of each group, the FOMO buyers and sellers and institutions who get the power on the day, or some crazy news, which we ain't really get no crazy news. So, okay, what we're going to do is this. We are going to add in our first level, which is going to be our normal entry on a call. Normal entry on a call, because remember, we trade with the charts, not with our heart. So we want the charts to actually talk to us and speak to us. So we're going to use visual aids to actually help us to understand what the charts are saying. How do you get the normal entry for a call? Let's set this up. And again, if you are not on Webull, then you can go ahead and get on Webull, so you can set it up the way that you see me doing it, right? So if you wanted to trade in a similar way, you be the judge. But you know what I'm saying? You would probably need a similar platform. If you know how to do another platform, that's fine too. So, okay, we're going to zoom out to the 30-minute chart, because I want to see not only today, which is this black space, or yesterday, which is this black space, or 2 days ago, which is this black space. I want to see the pre-market, the aftermarket, which is the gray spaces. And I want to see in the last like 3 days, what is the absolute peak? What is the absolute peak? When we break above here and you see it, it's from not yesterday. So this is today, not yesterday. It's from 2 days ago. I could go further back, but I don't need to if we're trying to trade a breakout. I don't necessarily need to in this case. So I see a clear peak at 416.49. This is going to be green right here. And the reason that this is our high level is because this is where basically our sellers really dominated. The stock was running up, and then it just started to sell off right there. If we get past the sellers meaning people who are selling, institutions who are selling, right? Sell orders of this ETF, if not the option. They were right there and they were dominating the game. If we break past them and confirm past them, then we're gonna start to see the FOMO buyers come in, family, and then we're gonna be able to ride that wave on the breakout. And then the news is gonna be like, oh, the Dow is up XYZ%, all of that type of stuff that you hear. But you want to be in calls when you're hearing stuff like that. In my opinion, not financial advice. I can't legally give you financial advice. I can just show you what's going on. So now, okay, boom. Let's go back to our 5 minute. And I'm going to scroll it down some. And what is this green line telling me? Because we're trading with the chart, not our heart. This is telling me that this would be considered a normal entry on a call. So if I broke up past here, boom, and confirmed above a candle living totally outside, a green one, then, oh, I could get it into a call with a 10% stop loss. This is what the charts is telling me on this strategy of trading. So now let's go to the same thing again. I'm going to go to the 30-minute time frame, meaning that every single one of these candles is representative of 30 minutes. Again, take the class if that don't make sense to you. So now I'm looking for the low of that day or the low of the previous days. So there's two options. I could stick to this day where that peak is. This is a very strong peak, right? This is a very, very strong peak up here. You could go two different ways with this one. I'm going to make it red initially, and I'm going to make it thicker immediately. No, not red enough. All right, boom. And then thicker. All right. I could go here at this low on the same day. Notice the volatility on this day. The range is crazy, right? So this could be our low, but I also see a potential for it to be here past yesterday's low, right? Past yesterday's low. I think this one is also appropriate to use. Obviously, this one will be more reliable, but I think this one is appropriate to use right here because we have basically 1 and 2 touches before popping up. So, okay. So we got this is our low. This is our high. If you wanted to play it more conservatively, then this could be your low on your red line, which would mean this is the normal entry on a put. Normal entry on a put. Normal entry to me means 10% stop loss. You always got to have a stop loss because you got to remember the laws. TA works 70% of the time. When you see people doing technical analysis and the next thing you know, they're getting smoked and they don't understand, oh man, what happened? The technicals was perfect. News, brother, news. Manipulation. These things happen sometimes. To a hammer, every problem looks like a nail, family. To a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. If you go to a surgeon, family, what are they going to try to do? Surgery. If you go to a naturopath doctor, what are they going to try to do? Handle something the natural way. And you know, sometimes this is better, that's better, blah, blah, blah. But when people specialize in something, family, they think everything is solved this kind of way. If you talk to a psychologist, they're going to think the things that are wrong with you might be all in your head. Maybe. Right? If you talk to somebody who's a behavioralist, they're gonna think, oh, it's all in your habits. If you talk to somebody who's like I don't know, they trying to give you hormones and stuff like that, they're gonna tell you, oh yeah, you just got to take these things and these enzymes. They're gonna tell you all of that. When you talk to somebody doing technical analysis, they're gonna think that it's the end all be all. It's not. You got to think of the whole 3D picture together, or else you're going to be getting smoked because you didn't consider something else. I hope that makes sense. So, okay. Now, and I'm the technical analysis guy. So, you know, I'm trying to keep it real. I know that if I get that tunnel vision as if this one thing is the only thing that works and the only thing that matters, then next thing you know, I'm being a hammer and I'm looking at all of the problems like it's a nail. And I'm not having that. So, okay. 5-minute chart. Let me just move this up a little bit. So our normal entry on a put is kind of far away, right? Normal entry on a put is kind of far away. It's all the way down here. And that's at about 407.50. And then the green one up top is at about 1650, right? So now we got our green lines. So now we're going to add in our blue lines. Our blue lines are the ones that we often trade. If you're a new investor, I would encourage you to not always trade the blue lines because they're early entries, right? Which you're going to have to exercise more patience. And I know patience can be hard, but patience will keep money in your pocket rather than having ignorance taking money out of your pocket. It's a great analogy. I appreciate you for that, family, because I'm trying to make it so we can understand these things thoroughly. You understand what I'm saying? So, all right, let's get to it. Our blue lines. Let's start with our early entry on a call. Early entry on a call. To be honest, we're very close to the early entry on a put. But let's start our early entry on a call. This candle right here, I don't know if you can see it well. Let me try to zoom in. This one is kind of messing us up, right? It's like an anomaly. So you know how I tell you when we do the early entry on a call or early entry on a put, we look to the left and then try to see where the most recent drop is on the put side. This is from 414 to 410. That's not really great because this just means like the algorithmic trading was happening where you have the algorithm like on YouTube or TikTok, except they trading, family, and they get into like 5 trades, family, in less than the time that it take you to blink. They in and out, right? And then you get stuff like this that happens. So, okay, let's look for our early entry for a call area, which means to me, 5% stop loss. 5% stop loss. It means you're jumping in early. If you're a new investor and you keep getting kicked out of your plays, then guess what? It means that maybe you should take less early entries on calls, less of them, right? When you get in early, it increases your risk, and then that potentially increases your reward. But you got to remember the risk side. People always let that part go. So, okay, early entry on a call, we make this blue, and we're going to make it thick right here. Right now, we are consolidating, and we've been consolidating for hours now, it looks like, even in the pre-market. You look at the candle that's moving. That's this one. The most recent candle, the active one. And you look to the left, and what you're looking for is the most recent peak to the left, which is here. But it's a double top. It's a weak double top. Why is it weak? Because it's really shallow, right? Like, it's not really like a big drop or something like this. And I honestly, it's probably actually quite strong now that I really think about it, because let me just zoom out and just double check. Yeah, it's actually quite strong. So let's look at this. Consolidation right here. Boom, 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 boom. There's resistance at about the 415 mark. But this is it. This is an early entry on a call. We got a double top, and it's actually, yeah, it's having trouble getting over that. So again, new investors, if you do decide to trade early entries on a call, make sure you have your stop losses and you understand that early entries, you're likely to get kicked out of them because they're early entries. You're taking a higher risk. So then you want to protect yourself towards that risk. So now, check this out too. You already know, if you've been rocking me for a long time, you in the gamble zone. Yep, I see GZ. I see GZ. I imagine that what you mean by that, maybe I'm wrong, but the gamble zone, you can see what time it is. We are in the gamble zone, and we identified that already. Now, the gamble zone is wider because of this. And I'll tell you what the gamble zone means in a second, for those of you who are new. But it basically means we in between two blue lines, between an early entry on a call and an early entry on a put. So let's go and let's do the early entry on a put. We're going to grab our other blue line right here. And again, like I told you before, this is not financial advice. This is education, mother, father, sister, brother. So no, I'm on a 5 minute. If you look down here, you can see that this blue, it might be a little hard for you to see, but it's blue. We are in the gamble zone right now. We are in the gamble zone. You could argue that this is the most recent peak to the left because of this anomalous. Is that a word? Hold up. Define anomalous.
Anomalous means deviating from what is standard, normal, or expected.
Okay. Hey, I thought I made that up. Let's go. So, all right, look. Check it out. Hold up. All right, yeah. So check it out, right? This is anomalous. That's the word of the day, baby. That's the word of the day. So we are in the gamble zone because of this anomaly right here. This is uncommon. This is not something that you would see all the time. However, remember, imagine that you were doing TA, you're doing technical analysis, right? And every problem is looking like a nail to you when you're just being a hammer. And then something, you get into a call or a put in a gamble zone, and then boom, this thing just drops. They kick you out, they take all your money, and then run it back up like it didn't happen, right? That's odd. That's very odd. But the SEC, the alphabet boys, they let stuff like this happen all the time, allegedly. So, okay, we are in a gamble zone. We could also argue that we'll be able to move this as time goes on. We'll be able to move this one, hopefully up to right here. But for now, we are in this gamble zone because the most recent like drop to the left happens to be all the way over here because you know what time it is. Straight up. So you said that's crazy. TOS don't even show that candle. Yeah, that's odd. That's odd. But it's here. I can see it. You see it. So as time goes on, what we're going to do is we're going to move this. These blue lines are dynamic, meaning that they move around. So in between the two blue lines, in between the early entry for a call, in between the early entry for a put, family, what do we call this zone? What do we call this zone? Let me know. I want to know if you picking up what I'm putting down. And do you see why? Tell me when you saw this dropping down, you immediately weren't thinking to yourself, oh, I need to get into some puts right now. You get into the puts and then you get smoked in the puts. You get into the puts and you get smoked in the puts. It could continue to go down later on the day, but you see how that just wasn't the best thing to have done. Why? We in a gamble zone. So let's go and grab that out Yep, I'm seeing it come up. Yep, GZ, baby. GZ, gamble zone. Vegas, right here. In the gamble zone. So now, let's talk about two concepts that we touched on briefly. Right? Hopefully the gamble zone kind of changes up and gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Now, the reason the gamble zone gets smaller is because as time goes on, the charts are moving, right? The charts are moving. And this tells us that we can move the blue lines because every so often, the most recent peak is somewhere else and the most recent drop is somewhere else. So now this is looking like it's going to become our most recent drop. But we are getting closer to the early entry on a call. We're getting closer to that range. So now, before anything happens, because it looked like it might happen right here, I want to show you something else. We talked about this a little bit the other day, and it's that the golden words that I wrote right here. A very early entry. A very early entry. You have to understand what kind of risk you are taking if you decide to get into a call or any kind of a play. Now, a very early entry means, and sometimes you'll see me like at the end of the live streams, like when we're being very, very patient and I want to spice it up, sometimes I'll do a very early entry, but it's not a good habit to have because it's unreliable, right? Because it's extremely early. You just like saying, oh, I'm just gonna try it right now because you're getting some indication that it might work. So, okay, very early entry on a call looks like this. Right? Very early entry. It looks like this. It doesn't confirm above. So I'm going to make another rectangle. Right? Another rectangle. And then we're going to talk about early entry. Looks like this. And it's green though. But do you see what I'm saying? Very early entry. Does not confirm above. Early entry confirms above. Keep in mind, because what people get twisted is oftentimes there are new investors who get into it and they're thinking, oh man, I waited for the early entry. Early entry is still early, right? Even a normal entry, because you got to understand that options are not stock. They're not stock. They're different. They're totally different. You got to be surgical. Even a normal entry, right? Which I'll show you here. Even a normal entry. Normal entry looks like this. Hold up, let me make this a little thinner. Even a normal entry on a call, which is a candle that lives totally above that green line up there. It's risky because it's an option. So then we put that stop loss on to protect us. And sometimes what'll happen is it'll kick us out or give us a chance to get in at a better price or just let it go and then just take a small L. Because understand, small L's are a part of the game. And if you ain't taking small L's, family, you ain't playing for real. So some people taking big L's, and I want that to stop. That, in my opinion, is closer to being a choice. Taking big L's, closer to being a choice. Taking small L's could be a part of the game if you are following laws. $200 I lost, $40 I lost. All of the greens is the one that I made money. $30 I lost. But notice how that's so different from 1,200 I made, 600 I made, 800, right? We talked about the 16,000, which happens every now and again, but it's just from playing by the laws, right? 1,000, right? Even the other day, 2 trades ago, 1,700, right? Playing by the laws, sticking to it. And then because the goal is to not so much win the battle, you want to win the war. You understand what I'm saying? Imagine that you won the lottery, right? And you was like rich for like, a week. That's going to be a good week, but you don't want to be rich for a week. You want to be rich forever. You understand what I'm saying? You don't want to have money problems no more. So what you got to do is you got to say, I'm trying to win the war. I'm not just trying to win the battle. So, okay. We got 1,900 people in the building. Could we get the likes over 1,000? Yeah. Kai, if I'm saying your name incorrectly, no disrespect, big dog, but that's a good point. If you play with fire, you get burnt. And it don't mean that you shouldn't. Fire can be useful, right? But understand this, that if you are playing with fire, then the chances of you getting burned is elevated, right? It's extremely elevated. So you just got to understand what's going on. So now, let's be clear though. Do you see, I'm going to ask you a question. And it's about these three right here. Maybe I could zoom in some and make it easier for you to see the words, maybe. So this yellow bar is a very early entry on a call. This blue one, and notice I be just, kind of sneaking new concepts in teaching. They call it scaffolding. I might have said this to you before, but it's like I build out a foundation with you, and then as time goes on, I can introduce new concepts to you to build on top of what you already know, right? And they say you're in your zone of proximal development, like you're ready for the new information. If you give somebody some information and they're not ready to absorb it, family is just gonna bounce off of them. So then it was pointless. So then what I like to do is kind of prep you up a little bit to be ready to encounter some new information. So now, here we go. Check this. One of these has not confirmed. One of these has not confirmed. So I'm not gonna tell you what confirmation means yet, but I want to ask you. So you could give me the letters. Is it the NE, normal entry? Which one has not confirmed? Normal entry, early entry, or very early entry? Which one of these are we not waiting for confirmation? Which means that we have the most risk. You could tell me, you could write it out or whatever, but let me know in the chat. Which one of these has not confirmed, right? It has not confirmed. Is it the normal entry on a call, the very early entry down here, or the early entry? Which one has not confirmed? Which one? You let me know. So I'm gonna just give you a second and let the answers roll in. I'm seeing them. Only one of them has not confirmed. Which one didn't confirm? Out of these examples, by the way, out of the examples, which one did not confirm? Yep, I'm starting to see the answers rolling in. Yep, shout out to my guy Jamal. And I see a few others. VE, which again, this one, very early entry, has not confirmed. Now, what do I mean by that? Because you got to really understand the level of risk that you're taking, right? Confirmation is a candle that lives totally above the line. So you ask yourself, did the normal entry one, is it totally above its line? Yeah, it is. That's called confirmation. What about the early entry? Did this one live totally above its line? So then I ask myself, did it live totally above its line? And you see it, it's not even touching the line at all. Oh yeah, that's confirmation. So then I look down here for confirmation, and the lie detector determined that that was a lie. It didn't confirm above the line. So then we consider this a very early entry. So now, if you understand this now, put a 1 in the chat. If you understand this, put a 1 in the chat. Because confirmation, when you find out that you're getting smoked on so many of your trades and you cannot determine a direction, family, that's part of the reason. That's a huge part of the reason. So if you understand this well, put a 1 in the chat so I understand that you picking up what I'm putting down. So now we just playing a patience game. And the same thing is true of these on the early entry on a call, early entry, normal entry, and then the very early entry. The same thing is true in the opposite direction. Down here, the same thing is true. It would just look like a mirror. And the reason that I'm going through this with you like this is because, again, I told you, I want you to have a skill that can pay the bills. I don't want you to just, be just trading options for fun. I want you to make money. You understand what I'm saying? And I want you to stop losing money. Sometimes I see, I remember when GameStop first popped off, right? There were so many people, I'm talking like on Wall Street bets and things like that. And shout out to them, because some people made a lot of money, but some people also lost a lot of money, but it was because they didn't have the principles really. You understand what I'm saying? They really didn't have these principles that helped them to make money and actually keep it. So then they end up taking, I don't know where you get $20,000 or $100,000 to bet with, and then you're willing to just throw it all on a gamble. You know what I'm saying? But it was happening. So I got you. He said, every time you watch, you learn a little bit more. I appreciate you. Please don't stop teaching. Thank you for that. So now, okay. At this point, we are getting very close to being able to move this line to about right here. Right? We're being very close to being able to move this line to about right here. But again, this anomalous event here is kind of throwing the TA off. Because again, it's showing us something like this. Something like this. We have evidence of something like this. Something weird happened in the news that made the algorithmic trading kind of go a little bonkers, or big dogs is manipulating it, right? So we got a little bit of that. So since we're here, we're still in a gamble zone, but this gamble zone is different from ones that we've been seeing normally or more regularly, but we're still in it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and just look for my word gamble zone. Did I delete it? I hope not. Yeah, I may have deleted my gamble zone, family. Dang. Because I don't see it. Hey, it is what it is. So I just write it again. So, all right. Let's zoom in. And we can see that we are now looking at our early entry on a put. We are close. So, remember, this one, this yellow one, something like this, a red candle going down here, that would be a very early entry on a put. But a candle that lived totally below it, that would be an early entry. And if we went way, way down further, that would be a normal entry. We prefer, now if you are a new investor, you never traded options, you are like kind of still getting to know it, I would avoid the very early entries. And I would even say I would maybe sometimes do the early entries, but sometimes I won't. Because again, you want to get comfortable, right? You don't want to just be giving money away and you don't understand yet how to do the stop losses appropriately, your risk tolerance, you don't understand it yet, right? So then you're taking bigger losses. So I don't want that for you. So then again, new investors, take your time. Take your time. Maybe even paper trade if you wanted to try to paper trade the very early entries or the early entries, right? You could do it, but don't keep doing it. It's not a good long-term strategy. So, okay. With that being said, let's go and let's open up an option to look at, but we see how we're in the gamble zone. I don't want anybody to forget that we're in the gamble zone. So let me move this back over here. Let me just write this out again. So, all right, drawings, text, and then gamble, zone, Z, O, N, E. All right, so we got our gamble zone back, our word. So we are in the gamble zone. The gamble zone is in between two blue lines, right? Let's go and let's look at puts. Why? Because we are closer to the early entry for a put. We are closer to it. And we are actually very close to the very early entry on a put. So what put am I going to look at first? I got to open this up and I'm going to go and try to look at a 410 for expiration today. I don't plan on holding it all day. I didn't buy it yet, but I want to go look at a 410 and see what does it cost. What does this 410 cost right now? Okay, so SPY options, and I'll pull it up on the screen once I find it. I didn't buy it yet. Notice, I want you to really understand, why does the SPY or any kind of stock bounce off of this line? I want you to really think about, and I said this in a video yesterday, imagine that you threw a ball. You threw a ball and it would just kind of bounce off of this line. But you know, if you threw a bowling ball, it might burst through it. And then you can see the momentum on the way down. And then that's what we'd be interested in, right? So, okay. But this here, when I have you drawing these lines, what I really have you doing is identifying where buyers are. You are identifying where people who are buying this, where are they, right? So they're right down here. And this is one of the reasons why this is a gamble zone. Again, I just want to give you another visual aid. So it's like this. See if I could make this a little bit taller. So this is what you're really looking at when you look at the gamble zone. This is what the gamble zone looks like kind of on the order book. Order book meaning people who are buying, people who are selling, and you can see it. So this is what it looks like. I can't have them symmetrical for whatever reason. Maybe I can make this one longer. Oh, I can. Right? Yeah, this is what you're looking at here, and this one will be red. This is what the gamble zone looks like, family. So when you see it and you see the red, it tries to get up here, but then these are where all of the sellers are. And then down here are where all of the buyers are. What we're waiting for is to try to play a breakout. We want to play a breakout or a breakdown. It doesn't matter which way, because we're not getting married to the trade. We just want to make money on it and then let it go, right? But you can get false breakouts, meaning it goes past the red section and hits above the early entry on a call, and then it jumps right back in. That would be a false breakout. These happen. News happens. Manipulation happens. And then down here, if we want to play it to the downside, we want the buyers to be exhausted out of it, right? So then this is where they all are. So then when you see the stock kind of bouncing back up, of course it's going to bounce up because this is where the buyers are. So now if we exhausted through them, then you have a higher chance, more in your favor. It's never guaranteed, but you have a more in your favor chance for it to go down. And all you need is a clear direction. You said, yep, that's how you draw. This is how you draw your areas out. You said, this is so good. Family, I tell you, look, this is how it goes. Either you're going to earn or you're going to learn. That's how I do it, family. I'm saying, look, I'm either going to earn or I'm going to learn. And this is going to help me to earn in the future. So now I'm going back and I'm going to go look at a put option, like I was saying before. But I just wanted to show you this. And again, like I was saying, I'll leak more information into the live streams as we go forward so that you can really pick this stuff up and understand it thoroughly. So now, okay. Now that I see this, I look at the RSI. RSI is at 40. Anywhere between 30 and 70 is kind of neutral, but I would even argue anywhere between like 40 and 60 is neutral, right? And right now we're at 40. We're not overbought. We're not oversold. So let's go, and I'm just going to look at the put, but I'm not going to buy it. I just want to see what it costs. So as it stands today, the 410 call or the 410 put option, which I'll share with you on the screen. Actually, I'm going to take a picture of the call and I'm going to go and take a picture of the put too. So let me just do them both at once. So I'm going to go take a picture of the call and then take a picture of the put. So the call, the one I was looking at was the 415. All right, calls 415. It's about $75 right now. All right, so now that I got these both, remember we're in the gamble zone. Still, I'm gonna share it with the computer real quick so that you can see these. Just so we can get a look together at the two different options, because we don't care about the direction. We just want the direction to be clear. That's what's important. You say you get that information from the order book. You see the buyers and the sellers. Yeah. So I'll show you what I'm talking about in a second. But it's not exactly the same, but it's a different way to see information both ways almost. So, all right, let's see. Let me show you something real quick. Let me pull this up and let me get this out of here and pull this up. Okay. So if you ever wonder how I be doing the videos with the slideshow, right? So when you see me doing the videos, what I do is I move it over here and then I press this button right here and it pulls my camera up to that side. And then I just kind of, I do this, right? I like size it. Right? I gotta do this like every day. So then I just size it up. So when I be bringing the receipts, this is how I'm doing it. Okay, so let me just actually make this a little bigger so you can see it. So you see how, like, when you watch me on the videos, I normally on YouTube, this is how it looks. So, okay, a little behind the scenes for you. All right, so now, first, let's look at the put. Not that we getting into the put, but we just looking at what it costs. So, okay. Let me go back. Not that one. I don't need this one anymore. This one. Okay. This is the 410 put. Expiration. Oh, the 9th. No wonder. No, let me see. Oh, yeah. Today's the 9th. I'm bugging. So, all right. 410 put. Expiration on the 9th. It currently costs $25. Right? 25 is here. So, my family who are new here, what I would want to do is, let's say, for example, I didn't buy this, but this means I'm trying to get it on the way down. I'm trying to make this, I want the stock to go down and then ride this wave. So if I buy it at 25, the whole point is to buy the option price low and then sell it high. You might look back at it and it's 30, 40, 50, right? 100, but you bought it at 25. That's how you make profit, right? So a lot of people like to complicate options. You really just, at the end of the day, trying to buy something low, let's call 25 low, and then sell it for high. However, 25 could be high, and maybe somebody got it at 10 and that was low. Does that make sense? You want to buy it at a certain price and then sell it for more. So then let's look at this. We're talking about the order book. Do you see how we are in the middle almost of the gamble zone? Like right here, we're in the middle of the gamble zone. And I was just telling you that, look at the order book. And this one's happened to just line up perfectly. But look at this. 4,000 people over here, 2,000 people over here. There's a lot of sellers and buyers that are meeting each other here. A lot of sellers and buyers that are meeting each other right here. Thousands of them. So then once you start to get to like different points, you'll start to see others dominating. Like when you break past it, you'll start to see a lot of the buys just rolling in. But what you're looking at here is you're looking at the buyers and sellers, the green and the blue, or not blue, the green and the red in a different way, right? You're looking at it in a different way. So, okay, this is the put. Right now it's 25, but it's probably getting even less because, again, we see the stock kind of going up a little bit, but technically, we are on a very weak downtrend, but it is there, right? So right here, we're on a weak downtrend, and I'll make this golden because I tend to make these lines gold and bold. Gold and bold, baby. So here we go. Boom. Right? We're technically on a downtrend, which is identified by higher or lower highs and lower lows. So we got a high, we got another high, and then we could get another high. So if it bounces off of this line and it confirms above it, like a candle that lives totally above this golden line and beyond it, then that means that we broke the downtrend, at least on the short term. But if we bounce basically off of it, like resist going through it, then we're just going to continue the downtrend. But notice this. You know how they say, oh man, how did you see that coming? Like that type of stuff. It's not so much that you can see it coming, it's that you can read the charts. These two things can't exist at the same time for very long. So this downtrend, this descending level of resistance cannot exist with this flat bottom on the early entry on a put. They both can't exist. So that's why they converge like right over here. They can't both exist at the same time. One of them has to give. So then you'll see like experienced traders, they'll say, all right, look, I'm playing this downtrend. Boom, it confirmed beyond it. I'm getting out of it or something like that, right? Or they will play it. They'll play the flat bottom and try to just ride the wave to the descending level of resistance, right? But these type of things take a lot of skill and take time to be able to do. I want you to really think about trading options. Like, think of trading options like kind of like doing surgery, family. Like it's almost like that. So to get really good, you got to just put in the time and really, really dedicate yourself to really being able to do it. Now, that's to be really, really good. And again, you owe it to yourself to learn a skill that pays the bills. And this is why I try to get on here and just show you what's going on all of the time. So let me move some of these lines. Honestly, I want to keep this. Do you think this is too busy? Is this too busy for you, family? Because if so, I'll delete some of it. But it is all telling us information right here. So let me know, yes or no. You said this is so good. Thank you. I got you, Shelly. I got you. Okay. So then at this point, we just in a patience game. Notice though on the bottom, let's look at our indicators. Oh, you can't see it yet because I'm still all the way over here. Do I move my stop loss on a mobile? I do it on mobile. You said no, it's perfect. Appreciate you, family. Appreciate you. All right, bet. So let's look at this. Our MACD is crossing up. Our MACD is starting. It didn't cross up yet. But if you see this, notice, you see these red bars right here? These are our sellers are selling momentum, right? The sellers trying to push it down. Notice the sellers are losing momentum. This is why the bars are getting smaller. The sellers are losing momentum. And the MACD is trying to cross up. The MACD is this blue line, and it's trying to cross above this orange signal line, right? Like an orange yellow, but it's an orange signal line. It crossing above is a sign of strength. Now, the RSI being in the 4750 range, that means it's neutral. That means we don't have to worry about it for now, right? That's a good sign if you are hoping the MACD is going to cross up. And notice we are now breaking that downtrend. We are breaking it. Again, this is still in the gamble zone where now we're going to start to see some weakness. Why? Because now we have entered into where the sellers exist, right? We have entered where the sellers exist. So then what you start to see with the sellers is you tend to start to see the red long wicks at the top, or even if they're green, just long wicks at the top, which means that the sellers are trying their best to push it down. But when you want to play a breakout, like we want to play, the strategy that we're using, you want it to be totally exhausted, exhaust through all of them, so then we can just be on a freaking rocket. But you see how the wick, again, they're in here. They're trying to make that wick long because they're trying to push it down. All right, let's see. You said there's no volume on this push though? No, we're in the gamble zone, family. We shouldn't be surprised by things like that. We're in the gamble zone. We're not going to use the gamble zone to get into a trade. Does that make sense? Unless, again, you've been rocking with us for a while and you remember that purple line, which is like shooting a shot from half court, which you could make and you could kill it, but we can't keep doing that. All right, give me 1 second, family. All right. So yeah, we're chilling in the gamble zone. And again, this is a game of patience. You said Tesla is going crazy. Let's go and see. And come back. So yeah, she going. Tesla is going crazy. But do you see? The sellers are trying to push it down. Long wicks on the top, However, the sellers is getting smoked. And we love to see it. They get absolutely smoked. Straight up. You said on a slow ride on Microsoft? Yep, the sellers, we will prefer them to get smoked because they always talking this and that and the third. And like I told you before, family, let me tell you, like I said with the laws, holding overnight, it opens you up to risk, right? It's very risky, especially in a bear market. This is key, especially in a bear market. As we get closer and closer to a potential bull market, this is going to be our first indicator of whether or not this one. And I told you this like 20 times, right? I really want you to understand how important this is. It's one of the most important things. On Valentine's Day, either we're going to get a red Valentine's Day or a really, really green one. Why? Because that CPI data is going to be released at 8:30 a.m. We need to see the inflation numbers come down. We need to see it come down lower than 6.5. And if we see that, family, this is going to kind of show us. And people don't want to hear it. People just want to be bears forever or bulls forever. Family, the whole recession that we are encountering could be for the sole fact that it's inflation. You know what I'm saying? Inflation. And the Fed is trying to induce it. So, okay, let's look real quick and let's see. Tesla, on the 5-minute, the RSI is freaking on fire. On fire. It's 74. Anything over 70 is crazy hot. MACD crossed up, but do you see all of these green candles? And do you see also, and imagine this, right? I'm going to move this over. So imagine you couldn't see the green candles yet. Imagine we was real early in the day and you were looking at Tesla just like this. Came down from basically 210 almost to 205. I promise you, people seen that and started jumping in the puts. Oh, we 205, I'm jumping in the puts. and now they're getting smoked because they can't identify an extremely easy to see gamble zone, right? Gamble zone, right here, right here, right? Gamble zone. And look, let's go back. Let's go and let's retroactively use what I've been talking about. So if you got the gamble zone right in here, this one, very early entry on a call. This one, early entry on a call, rockets, right? Straight rockets. But you got to be cautious with stuff like Tesla, for example, for the sole fact that oftentimes big companies are trying to short it and all of these types of things. So you just got to be just cautious. That's all. All right, family. Said Tesla's at 212. I see it. You said setting up our blue lines on Tesla would have gotten us paid. Family, again, remember, I'm teaching you a skill that can pay the bills. But do you see how it works, right? Do you see how it works? Okay, so let's go back to the SPY and let's see what we got. Because again, remember this. There's going to be days where it's Tesla doing this. There's going to be days where it's Apple doing this. There's going to be days where it's BBBY doing this. You understand? You can't catch them all, right? You, yo, hey Siri, play Gotta Catch 'Em All. This ain't it. I tried to see if they had that Pokemon song on Apple Music. Hold up. Yo, hold up. Let me just see real quick. You can't catch them all. You can't. Gotta catch. Hold up. Y'all remember that? I'm getting demonetized today. Y'all remember this? Y'all remember this? Yo. Listen, you ain't Ash Ketchum, baby. You ain't gonna catch them all. However, if you are a long-term Tesla holder, then you catching this, to be honest, in your long-term portfolio. Straight up. You said, well, listen to you. I got a quick 400. Let's get it. I love it. I love to see it. I love to hear it. Let's go back to the SPY because Tesla is a part of the SPY and it could be bringing us up. Nope, not yet. Not yet. Not yet. It's still doing this. So I said, I want to be the very best. Yo, come on now. That no one ever was. Yo, let me tell you something. I mean that. I want to be the very best that no one ever was. That's why you do not see others who will get on a live stream and trade, family. I'm telling you. It's risky to do. It's risky to do. And people don't really have the skill, so they don't know what they talking about. But all right. Don't play. Y'all know y'all was in middle school, had the cards stacked like this. The Pokemon cards. Yo, quick side note. Y'all remember, no disrespect, y'all remember them YouTubers was trying to sell you Pokemon cards for like $12,000 for a card? Oh man. Like, I'm like, yo, come on, man. Come on. This is crazy. This is crazy. So, okay. Again, at this point, nobody should be surprised that this came back down here. Again, we got into where the sellers are and they just pushed you back down, right? They just pushed you back down. Do you see this bull run ending soon? It depends on the stock, family. It depends on what's happening. There could be some news going on with Tesla that let me know if you see some news. I think it'd be quicker if you do it than if I do it. But yeah, let me know if you see some news on that. Because that's relevant and important. You say, wild in the day? You gotta catch them all. You can't catch them all, baby. Remember the gold Mew Pokemon cards? Come on now. I tell you this. Oh look, we get into a important level. I had 2 Pokemon cards in my life, right? I ain't saying that I was cool and too cool for it, but I kind of missed the wave, right? When I was young, I kind of missed the wave because when I was a younger kid, right? When I was like in middle school and stuff like that, I wasn't necessarily like the scholar that you have known today. As I gotten older and I matured, I started to really start to study and start to pay attention. You know what I'm saying? But when I was young, I was just being a kid. You know what I mean? Doing stupid stuff, getting into fights and stuff like that and all of that. But as I've gotten older, I said, you know what, let me sit down and focus. And I said this on Twitter yesterday. I said, I cut off all my distractions, and that's when life started to happen, right? That's really how it went for me. Cut off the distraction. I cut them out, and then boom, I'm starting to win off of that. Starting to really pay attention to the things that matter, right? So, okay, where are we now? We are in this range where we didn't confirm, but this is very early entry on a put, and we're showing that weakness. So then let me go back to the SPY put. Very early entry on a put. Again, let's be clear. That's what this would be. This is not early entry. Early entry would be a candle that lives totally beyond it. But I'm going to go and look at the SPY right now. Options. I want to look at, again, the same one that I was looking at earlier that I showed you and see what happened to the price. Oh, she's starting to shoot down. So, all right. But when we saw at first, it was 25. And this is the 410 expiration, February 9. Let's see what's going on with it now. And remember, sometimes you're gonna miss your entry. Is this a part of the game? And because remember, you know who you're not. You're not Ash Ketchum. Pokemon. All right. So let's go and see the 410. And she has almost doubled. So I'm looking at this exact 410. Strike 410, February 9. And this is now 45. I did not buy it yet, but it's 45. So, okay. $42. Do you see this long candle right here, or this long part of the candle on the bottom? This means buyers are trying to push it up. Oh, somebody said flip your hat. Gotta catch them all. Yo, I'm telling you, that Ash Ketchum hat flip. So now, if it confirmed below this, right, like a candle that lived totally below it, then that would still be considered an early entry. Remember, right now, if you decided to get in, that would be the yellow because it's still on the line. That's the very early entry on a put. But we are seeing that weakness. And you know what's crazy too? We're still respecting that downtrend from earlier. Like, it didn't totally break out of it. It actually stayed in it. So, okay. Now, we're at 412. That option now is 38. It costs 38. 37. Which one? The 410 expiration. I'm looking at the put again. It's at 37. So 410, February 9. I'm looking at the price. It's 38 now. 38. The RSI is low. I don't love that. It's not oversold yet. It's at 30. So it's literally on the cusp of it. It's on the cusp of it. So I don't love that. But we do see some increasing volume right here on the sell side. And I'm looking at it again. It's 41. It's showing a little bit of weakness. Not crazy weakness. Now it's at 42. So, okay. I tell you this all the time. I'm willing to trade with $5,000, right? So if I ease into a position, what I like to do is, if I decide to ease in, is not buy it all at once, right? I like to not buy it all at once if I decide to ease into a position. So now that I see this, it's at 45. And let's see. I'll try to buy. Now she's starting to run away from me. She's starting to run. Let me see if I can catch her better than that. She's at 46. Let me see how much of this to ease in for like $1,000. But again, I can see that there are buyers right here at 412. 44 now, 43. So we're getting a little bit of a pump. Okay, so I think I had to buy 24 maybe. 23 maybe. Yeah, 24. At this price, 24 would be at 43, 24 would give me $1,000 worth. All right. So I think I'm gonna have to buy it at like 45. I'm trying to get it lower though. So 44 now. I'm gonna try to ease into a position. I didn't get it yet. I'm watching this because I see this green candle and I don't want it to just jump up, and I could have got a better entry. 42 now. Because remember, the RSI right here is it's almost oversold at 30. So we got to be mindful of our entries when we see stuff like this. But we still respecting that downtrend, but it could come pop back up and then try to just retest this downtrend again because it's gotten so far away from it. Remember, this line is going to be a little bit like a magnet. This golden line, a magnet that brings it to it, but then it bounces off. So, all right. Now she's at 40, 39. I was considering getting in at like 45, 43, but I'm seeing a green candle like that and I'm not interested just yet. So now she's 40. RSI is trying to cool off, which is good. Even for the downtrend, downside. So, all right, at 40. $41. She's starting to pop up again a little bit. Yeah, so I'm gonna let the RSI cool off a little bit. It's at 33, which is very close to being oversold. So let me show you what I see and what's going on in my head, right? I want to just explain this to you because today, like I was telling you before, I made a video and I was talking about how you really want clear signals when you get into it. But it's looking like I want this one to close out and confirm, but it's looking like it won't. It looks like it's gonna touch again and not be a confirmation. So I want to show you this right here. This one is now oscillating between the high 30s and the 40s. Now, in my brain, what I want to do is jump in the 30s and then jump out in the 40s and then do it again, right? Again and again and again. But since I see this looking like it's not going to be a confirmation candle, it looks like it's going to touch again up here, then it don't make sense to do it. It's almost like giving money away. So now it's at 33, 32. 33, 32. And now it's on the line. So it's officially not confirmation. It's officially not confirmation. And we know that this is a green candle and it's getting back into where buyers are. And it's on the line. It has not confirmed. Remember, a confirmation candle lives totally beyond the line. So, again, exercise and patience. Exercise and patience. You said it's at 31 now? Yeah, 34, 35. We still on the downtrend, let's be clear. But that's what I'm seeing now too, though, by the way. RSI, what told us to kind of chill instead of being so like, I want to say zealous. I feel like I'm using words I don't use a lot. Hey Siri, define zealous.
Zealous means having or showing zeal.
Having or showing zeal. Hey Siri, define zeal.
Zeal means great energy or enthusiasm in pursuit of a cause or an objective.
Great enthusiasm in pursuit of an objective. You don't want to have too much zeal in terms of trying to get into puts, right? Especially when you see the RSI being 30, being in the 30s. That tells us not. You understand what I'm saying? The RSI told us, maybe you don't. You understand? Are we watching calls? No. I'm looking at a put. I'm not married to it, but I'm looking at a put because we're still on a technical downtrend. And we keep getting lows, higher lows, higher lows. I'm sorry, lows, lower lows, high, lower high, lower high. And now we're encountering some resistance right here. Now, again, this doesn't mean that we can't look at the put at the calls, but it does mean that if you get into a call now, you're just going to be called right back into the gamble zone that we were in before. However, I told you this earlier, and this is making sense now too. Check this out. We can move the gamble zone because time has gone by. Let's look at this. This could now be our early entry on a put. And the most recent peak to the left, this could now be, not that, I didn't mean to move that. I liked where that was. This could now be our early entry on a call. And I guess I could delete these now. But just so you understand what you're looking at. Because a lot of the time too, a lot of people who teach like TA and technical analysis, blah, 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 they just way overcomplicate it. And it really doesn't have to be that. It does not. But everybody does things differently, so it is what it is. So, all right. Boom. Early entry on a call. Early entry on a put. Gamble zone has shifted. We got a new peak and we got a new bottom right here, which is at the 410 or 412.10. But mostly, we're not getting the volatility that we would like for an options trade. You want something to be kind of shooting up or something to be kind of like shooting down for an options trade. Very important. But still though, even though you're seeing a few green candles, don't get married to just, oh, I should get into calls. Because what will happen is one of two things. Either you get lucky and you get a call, right? It's the flip of a coin. You get a call or you get a put. It's either going to go one way or the other, right? You get lucky and you get into a call and you make money. You get into a bad habit thinking that luck is skill and luck is not skill. And then you lose all of the money you made, right? Or the other way, you get in at the wrong time and just lose that way. So you remember, luck is not a good long-term strategy. All right. Does it matter if the candle confirms green on a put? Yes. That means that it's indicating that this ain't the candle you're looking for. Let's go back to Tesla real quick, see if she's still rocking it up. Okay, yeah, yo, shout out to Tesla. My long-term Tesla holders, I know a lot of people had their average under 200 or like in the low 200s. So if that's the case, shout out to you because you up on your play. If that is the case, major shout out to you because you are up on your play and I love it. I love it. I love it. Because remember, like we said, you got to have long-term holds that keep you in the green. So like everybody's like, oh, I'm missing out on Tesla. Not if you holding it long. Not in this. You said Disney is getting smoked. Google under 96. Is it going to gap fill? It could. Still up though. Let's go. You said Baba was jackpot money. You said, yeah. Oh, 119 is your average? Let's get it. Yo, believe it or not, right? So there's an app. It's called M1 Finance, right? And years ago, maybe it was 2017, 2016, I bought some Tesla on it, right? I didn't buy a lot, but I bought some Tesla on it. And I swear my average is, when I look back and see what my average is, I'm like, yo, no way. Let me go and see. Let me show you this. I really didn't buy a lot. I really didn't buy a lot, but I want to show you this. you're gonna be like, dang, right? If you would have seen this back in the day, family, I'm telling you, hindsight, ooh, it's 2020. Look at this. I really didn't buy a lot because I wasn't using M1 like that. But my average on Tesla, I ain't even buy a whole share. I bought a little bit. I bought a little baby sprinkle of Tesla. Family average is $46. $46. Ain't that crazy? $46. This thing is $200. I forget exactly when it was, but I was like, oh, let me just see what this app. Which one? I don't know. Tesla. I just boom. Yo, come on now. That's what you look at. You say, yo, I wish I put the house on it. Low, like, come on now. And yo, let's be clear. Apple, like, if not too long ago either, like when you really look at time frames, was like $50. Like, let me go back and just show you how long ago Apple was freaking $50 compared to today's prices. 2019, Apple was $35. Is this Apple? Yeah, it is. Look at this. Apple was $35. 2019, Apple is $152, and Apple was a banger of a company. You had an iPhone. You had an iPhone in 2019. Stop playing. And if you didn't, somebody you knew did. I'm telling you, man, sometimes it's crazy out here. So, okay, let's go back and see if the SPY is doing anything interesting yet. So, all right, look. Remember how I was telling you that we still technically respecting this downtrend right here? Right? And then we thinking, oh, man, should I be getting into the calls? And I'm like, yo, no. Technically, I'm still looking at the puts, right? When you start seeing green and then you want to get into calls immediately, family, you using this. No disrespect. I'm just trying to let you know. You using this, right? Because I see it too. And the reason I took the time to make a shirt about trade with the chart, not your heart, is because I'm looking at the green, and then that little troll in your brain. It's like, ooh, calls. Oh my goodness. Right? Calls. Because you're seeing green. Get it. Get the calls. Maybe it'll work out. Maybe it won't. You don't want to trade off of maybes. Maybes is not a good long-term strategy. So, now, again, like I said, now we in the gamble zone again. And look, you would have just been on such a roller coaster. Oh, it's going down. No, it's going up. It's going down. Nah, we ain't having all of that. So, family, look, today, we are very, very close to the early entry on a put. We would like the confirmation, right? We're still on a technical downtrend. If we break above, let's call it 413, break above about 413, even the high 412s, technically we would break out of this yellow downtrend, right? So 413s will break out of this downtrend, but we'll still be in the gamble zone, which moves. If we break above 414, like 10, then we are in the early entry for the call zones. But I've been on the live for a while, and I'm not getting any clear signals to get on any trades. And I really want you to know that whenever you don't lose money and you are looking to trade options, that is a win. That is a win. No clear signals. And again, not every day is going to be like this. But I think that if I was always trying to go and force trades, I would be leading you to destruction. And I can't have that. So today is looking like a no clear signals kind of a day. Now, I don't want you to get impatient. I don't want you to be, I want none of that. I want you to understand that you got to know when to hold them and you got to know when to fold them. You got to know when to go and you got to know when to not go. Think about how many times you got into a trade and then you're like, man, why did I get into that trade? And the trades can still happen, but I want to be on the live stream all day now. I do plan on Sunday. I want y'all to know this. On Sunday, if you want to talk to me, like literally, we do voice chats. On Sunday, we're going to do another voice chat, right? And you got any questions or something like that, you can add me in the Discord in the class options or the class chat. But we're going to be able to talk and chop it up. So I want y'all to just be on the lookout for that on Sunday at like 12, right? At about 12. You said you ever get PTSD with the trades? Yo, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Oh, I got to broadcast that one, big dog. My guy said, Quick Scopes 2009. Said, yo, y'all ever get PTSD with the trades? Come on now, talk about it. But yeah, it's like a voice call, right? It's like everybody, you remember back in the day when you was a kid and everybody got on the chat and everybody was talking like, yo, oh man, what's going on, right? It's like a lot of people. So that's what we're gonna do, and we're gonna do it on Sunday. So if you got any questions or whatever, and you're gonna be able to literally talk to me. So I'll see you. You said Sunday is a Super Bowl? Yes, it is. What time exactly? I'd be lying if I told you I was paying attention to that. Now I'm gonna keep it extra real. I don't even know who going to the Super Bowl, because I'd be so dedicated and focused that I'd be having like tunnel vision. Like, all right, how can I train the family better in terms of being able to read the charts? How can I get busy with this research? How can I make sure that I ain't getting smoked on my taxes like Chris Brown? Yeah, I don't know if y'all heard about that. Let me show y'all real quick. Chris Brown tax problems, right? Chris Brown reportedly owed like $2 million or whatever in taxes. Oh, $4 million in unpaid taxes. Family, come on now. This just happened recently. January 27th. My man is supposed to be making way too much money for that. Listen, that ain't gonna be Keenan Grace. Nope. So, you know what I'm saying? I got that tunnel vision. I'm trying to make sure my business is correct. I'm trying to make sure the family is getting their worth out of the Discord, right? I'm also trying to show you, and again, I want to be clear too. I want to just be totally transparent with you. I don't feel good when we have days where we don't trade, right? Because I know a lot of people are like, they're like, man, I really wish I could have gotten to this trade, man. I know it. But again, I gotta be disciplined. I gotta make sure that I'm trading with the chart. And if I start feeling like, oh man, I just want to make sure that the family could at least get into a trade with me. You know what I'm saying? If I get like that, then what am I trading with, family? I be trading with my heart. And whenever you let your heart lead you, the piranhas is in the water, the sharks is in the water, and they're gonna take the money from you and all of us if we start to do that. So I hope that you respect that I respect you enough that I will not get into a trade if the signal is not clear. I hope that you appreciate that, family. So I love y'all, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.